It's a very strange thing to feel like you have to force yourself to do something that you're so familiar with. I know sometimes, or here and there, even today, I made like a short from, well, the place, I'd say new place of work, but it's a job I had before I left the job I just had. Um, and well, shit, man, this is my means of sorting through everything, documenting it. If anything, no matter where this channel goes, which is whatever the hell I make it, it has to be the place that I go to just have my cathartic little rants. This is my own mental health upkeep. So, and the fact that I feel like I have alienated myself, prevented myself from coming on here. A strange anxiety develops after you kind of stay away from something you've grown to be so comfortable with. There was a time where I would do these lives, with my face on display, much more comfortably on a more regular basis. And I know I've been away for a little bit. It was a pretty extreme change that I went through. And, you know, as many times as it's going to take, I have to continue to personally evolve and try to make the most of this brief little journey I got here. Hey, Trisha. It's good to see. Holy crap, you changed your name. I'm shocked. Oh, you're a member of the Khajiit. Well, hello, Khajiit. I've gotten back on the gaming scene, thank goodness, by the way, since your name has reminded me of that. I I know everybody has seen the Fallout series, and like the other 5 million people that have owned that game, I have returned to it myself, and because of that stupid uh, update that is going to happen tomorrow, I deleted all of my old games that I put so many hours and time into and started a new one. What's up, Ajot? Respect to you, and it's good to see you. I see and see just like that, the comfort starts to kind of wash back over me when I see familiar names, faces, and that's something I want to touch on, like my gratitude, which is something I do often, you know, um, and the optic might be that it's a bit exhausting or overdone, but I can't really express how grateful I am, for the people that do come here and peek and listen to the rantings of a lunatic, whether it be for sheer fascination or morbid curiosity, whether it be appreciation or the strange phenomenon known as hate watching, which is the only reason I've chosen to monetize any of my bullshit videos, is solely because of that motivation, which is kind of amusing. At least the experience on YouTube has helped me grown a thicker skin, for sure. So here's what is interesting about me leaving the job I had of 5 years. I made a very scathing post, and I'm absolutely prepared for the company to send me like a C&D or something, because I put out a lot of dirty laundry. I feel, of course, I feel wronged about the circumstances. Let me nitpick a little bit here. Let me pick one of my favorites out of the bunch. This is the catharsis, okay. Those sons of bitches lost. This is a Fortune 500 company, okay. They're big on, like most companies in the world, anti-union and all that shit. They indoctrinate you. Unions are evil, blah blah blah. And I get it, okay. And hell, man, did I get a lot of great benefits? Yes, and I had a comfortable spot, but I was usurped. Um, here's the most scathing thing I can think of, that I hope they hear this and make any attempt to silence me. There was an employee who's still there who had a tendency to get drunk on the job. So much so that it was openly known. Now, because this is a buddy of mine, I'm not going to name his name. And from the time when the incident happened, we weren't as close as we were after a couple of years pass. But if there's any poor reflection of this company I worked for, which I don't know why I feel any sort of apprehension to name the name. It's a large company, and I'm sure many of you know it. It's slipped up a few times already. But I was assaulted, like physically assaulted in the workplace by a associate who was intoxicated, and he put me in a fucking headlock. But it was one of those, he thought he was being my buddy. Like he thought it was funny to have his stinking ass breath while he put me in a fucking side headlock in front of a customer, and I had to force my fucking skull out of it and put him up against the plexiglass right next to us and say, "Don't you ever fucking touch me like that again." Uh, and yeah, I went to HR. HR came to the company and interviewed as many people as they could see. And I explained and made a report. And this well, no, I had the district manager of this fucking huge company that's all over the country. And this was all well documented. And I must have spent an hour talking about this. The HR lady was absolutely freaked out. And then fast forward, I get no status update, nothing. And then when I finally get to sit down, fast forwarding through a few different manager cycles, the DM tries to convince me or manipulate me or bait me. I don't understand this tactic at all. This is a bad PR look, motherfuckers. Fucking hell, man. Um, he tried to convince me, like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, I was there? Yeah, yeah, James, motherfucker. Yeah, you were in the room with me when I made this report. And he and my adoring store manager, they all played along with this. Oh, well, yeah, the investigation concluded that everything was handled, and I had to take that shit on the chin. So this corporation, man, just like the products that are sold, I felt no different than a product with a code number. I was an employee with my own code, P097750. That just like fucking, I know this is a bit of an exaggeration or dramatic, but just like a person is known for their prison number or whatever, right? Or your inmate number. That's what the fuck I felt like. And this company goes through so much agony to express that they're all about a more progressive working space and mental health. And so then some stupidity occurs in my comfortable position, where I sold the dildos, the magical dildos. And after all the theft I prevented, like thousands of dollars, I stupidly put my life at risk because of my stubborn principle about thieves. I don't recommend people risk their lives for material, but I don't know. I can't seem to help myself. We work so hard in life, and every time somebody tried to do my best to take anything back without putting a hand on them, because the company is more concerned with liability than they are with our own human safety. This fucking company has this is literally a policy. If, let's say, hypothetically, I was punched in the face by a thief or some madman, I am only allowed to retaliate with equal or lesser force. So if I get punched in the face once, I can punch him in the face once. This is absolutely fucking insane because they're more concerned about being sued than my own safety. So I was transferred out of the position that I was there from day one for the opening of, and when I went to that other department, I got so fucking miserable. I had to take myself out of the equation. It of took a lot of fucking stones, man. It took a lot of cojones. What's up, White Dragon? Good to see you. Sincerely, thank you for the email. I think I got confused with some of the wording at the bottom, but thanks for being around for as much as you have. I'm just kind of vlogging, documenting. Fuck it. You know what? Oh, darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Camera back off. I'm gonna put on a light. I did start this initially on my computer, but I just feel anxious, uncomfortable again. Like I'm no longer familiar with doing this, so I have to, get back in the rotation. Being who I am, I was able to quickly uh, get the very job that I left behind to get the job that I just left behind a week ago. And it did take, as I was saying, it took me a long time, like 2 weeks of just being completely, absolutely miserable. And I am a person that's grown quite exhausted with feeling as miserable as anybody else would be. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. I really thought I was gonna retire at this job, but when this manager told me, and he had no authority to do so, it's like I know something happened over at the dildo store, but this I need you to forget everything else, and this is permanent. When I made it so very clear that this was something I was advocating to get out of as soon as possible, and I perhaps should have gone to the higher ups, but when I would go to them, remember, this is a place that promotes probably not sober ramblings. Oh no, no, only sober. Okay, this mind hasn't been tainted with anything non-sober for I can't check my app now, but 130 days. I don't know. Sobriety is a strange thing to me because all for a long time in my life, I've not known clarity. Maybe that's why I'm kind of stunted. These are oh, gotcha, White Dragon. Sorry, you had me reflecting. That would make sense because the the placement of the sentence structure, I think I understood the meaning of what you were trying to convey, and until a certain point, and it was a little jumbled. But I hope all is well, truly, and I am very thankful to all of you, to anybody that reaches out. I hope all of you have been doing well. This is a strange world in the YouTube lands. And I haven't checked, I haven't visited any of the drama channels in a while. I've completely disconnected from that because I've felt unhealthy enough and I don't need to be distracted by more people being toxic or unhealthy in general. I mean, it's definitely a distraction, and I've come to look at these. And Trish, if you're still here, I think you're somebody that understands this. These communities that I don't know, are they pretending to have this sense of community because there's so much back talking, shit talking, and spite, that these people that do what they do, you know how you go to the same few channels and you see the same few names time and time again, and the whole idea of watching I see you. The whole idea of, just watching somebody to wait for a soundbite and or a clip. Who's the more pathetic one in that scenario, and the individual who I don't know, like I get it on both ways to a degree, but I am gonna go with the group that has accepted that their lives are just going to be being a community or congregation that fake this sense of love to one another only to have these little tribal infighting clans. I'm an old head. I'm a dusty old head. I don't understand these mob mentalities and tribes and like I'm close to name dropping some of these fucking things, but I don't need the hassle. But we've all seen quite a few, and I don't shut up about it because this is a part of the experience on YouTube that has been a. It's good to see it. And Angel Wings, my heart goes out to you. Thank you for reaching out, Bryn. I appreciate you reaching out as well. I hope you're doing okay. You know, I ain't gonna deny. People people hear things and they get curious. They don't want to get I just sometimes don't want to get too involved in anything, and I will cease talking about too much, but it is sometimes exhausting. So this is from my own personal experience of being in a mud pile. And I don't mean to make any sort of negativity towards the people that I've come to appreciate so much. But when I watch other congregations and communities and mobs do things and say things, I don't understand how they come to certain decisions and conclusions, especially when it is clearly a toxic thing. And I do understand, when you stand up for yourself and fight for yourself, which is something that we need to do, right? Um, if somebody messes with you, fight fire with fire. There's a lot of Christians, but I don't see a lot of Christianity practice turning the other cheek. Just some of the things that are done. I've grown kind of afraid or disenfranchised, just like I've been with our government and our institutions, by looking at how humanity acts in packs. I respect an individual and I understand the individual, but when we get grouped up, man, when we travel in packs, I cease to understand the human mind and behavior. It's such a strange phenomenon to watch, and like I have such a positive vision of all of you. But I see certain names over at certain channels taking part in activities that, I'm not your judge. If you're grown, you know not to give a shit about what any outside influence says, think thinks or does. You just make your own opinions. And some opinions you have to choose to keep to yourself. Or at some point, you have to open up and just ask certain questions, even if that's going to be uncomfortable, because that's the only way I think I can feel more comfortable. Like it is strange to feel kind of afraid to come back to something I've been so comfortable with for how many years now? Stuck in the middle, stuck at night, dead progressive patriot, which I think I might change the fucking name back. I don't know. But I came here to rant and ramble. And I'm gonna stick to that. But man, yeah, when we get grouped up, we get silly and we do stupid shit. We I don't know why we make certain decisions. It makes sense for me when I look back at my many mistakes that I've forgiven myself for. Fuck anybody else. Um, and like I get it. Human beings are not meant to have so much attention on them at all times. And I fully believe that some sort of fucking neuroses begins when you get infected with feeling all these eyes on you, and that you have to always appear a certain way, and then you'll find yourself doing things out of character. So I've seen that, and I've been made aware of like just things that I can't advocate, I can't condone. Can I condemn? Fuck if I know. It's supposed to be about the shit I've been going through. I'll expedite the process. What's up, Jocko KS Cop Watch? That's a new name, but it's good to see you as well. I hope all is well. Um, Here, I'll give you the abridged version. I had to, for my job of 5 fucking years, when they took me out of the position that I went back to that company for. I had to rip the fucking Band-Aid off when it was becoming clear that I was not gonna be given another chance to be where I was the most effective and the most comfortable, even if I was getting a little burnt out by the rat race. I can't, I cannot believe that we human beings, as individuals, maybe in groups, this is where we can be effective because it takes a village, right? But the whole full time life, man, maybe it's that I'm soured by retail or whatever, but working full time and just the same activity day in, day out with no sense of individualism, which is why I'm kind of happy at the moment that I went back to a family owned and operated business, which is where I did the short earlier in the day from. I get to wear my own fucking clothes. I can speak how the fuck I want. It's less strict than YouTube. And I can even like I'm gonna be in charge of the social media of this business that's been around for 30 plus years locally in my area in Florida. And I have maintained a good relationship with this family. Here, if anybody remembers way back when, you have to do this. Trust Angel Wings. This is a lesson I continue to learn every few months in my life, and it has to stick. You got to make it stick. I'm gonna be taking charge, the helm, the keys of their social media. So I'm probably gonna go live from inside the store, and I have no qualms talking about this because it's not a corporation. The sense of lack of individualism that you feel when you're in a corporation, as I was saying earlier, I felt no different than the products on our shelves. It's like I had a barcode, I had to scan myself in, and I had to lose all sense of self autonomy. And if the more of myself that I was, the more in trouble you get because individualism is bad, which is the opposite of, the whole basis of our country. I am being very hyperbolic about this, but it's truly how I feel. You got to dress in a uniform. You have to speak a certain way. You have to watch your tone, inflection, and your words. And I had this one associate who was the most two-faced fucking, I'm just going to say it how it is, and I know I saw some subs go up. I'm much more comfortable when they go down these days. Oh, how things have changed. But I noticed after I quit that job, I saw the sub count start to go up because they knew I was gonna say some shit. And I had to lick my wounds. All right. I was going through a bit of a depression, which is a part of my life, very much a part of my life, so much so that I am comfortable talking about it. This is YouTube. It's like being Mirandized, okay? This is anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of YouTube. Anything you say will be clipped and taken out of context in any shape or form that any hate groups or mongers or individuals can and will perceive in a negative way. The more that you share of yourself will also be thrown back in your face, and I love that there was once a whole episode done on my friend Brock's channel years ago where he proposed this idea that Eli, I think you might be a narcissist because his deduction and diagnosis was because I liked to act out on live streams, on Stuck in the Middle, on show. If you decide to hit a live button and be on camera, are you gonna just be low energy, monotone? Because that's not me. That's not my energy is manic as it is. All right, and being able to be who the fuck I am is one of the only freedoms I have in my life. You know what I mean? So I would exercise that right at every opportunity. And if people want to weaponize that or use it, if I talked about my deepest, darkest moments in life because I felt it could be something that might reach somebody else and make them feel less alone or help somebody feel like, you know, okay, that guy went through that and did this or thought that he's human just like me, or and maybe like I don't have it that bad. I really thought I was doing something that was absolutely self-serving, cathartic for me, but I thought it was a kind of a service to somebody out there. My intention has always been to reach and connect, in the most positive way possible. I sometimes, very rarely these days, think about the beginning of how this all started what a strange ride it's been, but I wouldn't trade it for a fucking thing because I cherish anything that occurs in this mundane life. I'm not the young man I used to be. I'm not the child. I think about myself in my 20s and it's cringy, but I think of all the times and the experiences that was taken for granted, and I think just how boring being older is. And so I look back and I appreciate just that I got to have something that I can look back on, whether it was absolutely terrible or dark or whatever, with its mistakes and without. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have learned a damn thing. You have to learn how to evolve your own perception. And so I see why it is not a positive thing to try and take a whole life experience, package it up, put a name on it, and like brand it, which is why the name thing is always something I worry about, which is a silly, stupid thing. I can't be ashamed of my own life experience. That's the thing that I learned by going through the motions on YouTube when things happened too fast and all that. I learned for myself that you just can't, even though I am guilty of feeling too much and being vulnerable. But I've never pretended that I am a man that is so strong or brave, or I've made it clear I suffer with, some depression shit, anxiety shit. I've felt some massive anxiety before I decided to make this live. I went from my computer chair and microphone with a thumbnail and some clips to wanting to take my face off the camera and sitting over here, and so it's strange, but at least this is a step right now in this moment of forcing myself to do something that I know helps me in the long run. I feel better after these stupid, silly talks and rants. And I know, and I don't give a fuck. I don't care that other channels, other personalities, because there's a lot of what's out there, is people that put up a whole new personality, a caricature of who they really are. Something I was guilty of, absolutely. And like it's just funny to hear your name in certain places, and at this point it's a badge of fucking honor. And yeah, I don't know. Going on about it makes it seem like I have done the opposite of learning from the experience, but still talking about it is just a part of my experience. Let me see what you got, Angel Wings. Narcissist seems to be a word that floats around as an excuse because it's easier to blame someone else rather than take accountability. I think my friend was very well intentioned. Maybe he thought he was really onto something. And me being who I am, I took it, seriously. I was like, really? Well, let me look into this more. Let me self evaluate. Let me share more of myself online so I can hear the opinions of others. It's amazing how the opinions of others are one way, like, oh, they can be empathetic and so very human where they are understanding in the moment. But then if your opinion strays too far away from their own worldview, suddenly the very actions that brought you together become their own weapons to use against you in the future. There was a compilation and a script written about me years ago because my channel, what happened with the channel, and it was sent around to other YouTubers. And I don't care that I bring this shit up often. How crazy was it during fucking Thanksgiving when I was talking to a YouTuber, and right in front of me in live in real time while I'm chatting with this woman, she gets a fucking phone call, and her daughter picks up the phone, shows the person that's live in her kitchen, and they go, "Isn't that crazy?" And it was about little old me. Like, holy shit, that was a trip. That was meta. It's almost like an out of body experience. Like these examples, they're no different than the shit that I went through when I was younger, and the little dramas and experiences that I had that helped shape me to be wiser or stronger or whatever it is to survive this long. You don't get a fucking attaboy, but it's an accomplishment to be a survivor. Period. Uh, Fighting our own demons. And I've been watching a lot. Sure, right now I've been watching material about Hemingway, and I don't know. My mind goes to strange places, as does my rants, don't they? So I don't know. I guess I'm just talking about how everything's a motherfucking trip. So for me, I'll bounce back to making a hard decision that was kind of a sacrifice because I gave up paid time off. I gave up an amazing, amazing benefits package. I still have my stocks that I'm going to continue to get dividends from. I am so thankful that I have the money that I do, that I've accumulated it, invested it in the way that I did, and I have a safety net. I have the 401k, the stocks. They're going to stay where they are. I still have a good amount to my name. And working like today, just out of the blue, after connecting again with this family that I worked for in the past over 5+ years ago, I went in today like at the drop of a hat. I slept 0 hours last night, stayed awake all the way through. I finally got a text back, spoke to him at 8 o'clock in the morning, calls me again, and he's like, "You want to come in right now?" I was like, "Fuck, man, hell yeah." I've been just marinating in my own misery since I left my prior job. So I'm going to take this little Hail Mary, get the fuck out of my head. I enjoy serving the public. I enjoy being around hell is they say hell is other people, but no, nobody is an island, which is more true than hell being other people. I think hell is your own perception if you let it be as such. I keep on learning the same lessons time and time again. I have motivation issues. I can make the most grandiose plans, get myself hyped up and manic, and not execute. Like I'll continue to learn these lessons, but I'll never amount to shit if I don't force myself. Just as simple as it is to hit a live button when I feel uncomfortable, I have to commit to acknowledging my flaws and pushing through them. Otherwise, I'm not I'm only surviving and I'm not living. And I don't want to only survive and make it until the last day I'm alive. I want to look back and say I lived. I don't want to be held back by my mental illness. I don't want to only be known for being an anxious or depressed human being. I want to have a life story. I don't know so much about a legacy anymore, but I want to have an experience that's worth having. I want to feel my since I've been so fucking sober, which is, a blessing and a curse. My dreams are so wild and vivid, and it's like a remix in my mind and my brain when I am dreaming of the past that I seem so nostalgic for and my present all mumbled and jumbled up together like a fucking crazy DJ on acid just remixing somebody's life experience all into one episode. You know, uh, you'll be fine. Chase what is right. Still learning what's right for me. Still learning. I just where I guess it's a good thing that I'm still learning. It proves that my brain is still functioning. But I think a lot of us are guilty of being too goddamn hard on ourselves when the world and circumstances are hard enough. As a country, we're going through a lot of hard times, and I'm still absolutely disconnected from how I seem to perceive the culture, the landscape. The oversaturation of connection has made a more disconnected population. It felt so good today to be amongst. I worked with two, like a 23-year-old and a 24-year-old, and it was so refreshing to feel like the wise man talking to these people that are having a blast. They're roasting each other, and it was just it's just a reminder of how human we are when we simply interact and get back into the flow of something. and I want to also make my own flow. I've opened up at my old eBay account. I'm selling Super Nintendo games here. I'll show you guys something that's rare. This gem right here is worth like $300. Now I've got other oddities. Look, I'm gonna start selling that shit behind me. Some collections, but this right here is highly rare apparently. They only made so many units. One of my favorite fucking Super Nintendo games from way back, Earthbound, known as Mother in Japan. I cleaned it up. I have a friend that's begging me to just sell it to him. He used to come by and just give me like stacks of cash, but he's good at the gift of gab. So yeah, I've just started thinking about all the other ways I can have more income because that's just a part of the journey, is being able to self-sustain yourself as comfortably as possible. And again, I want to do more than just live in some status quo of just paying bills. I want to be able to experience things. It doesn't necessitate money, but being who I am, there's a certain maintenance and upkeep that is necessary that requires working for a very, very long time. And that goes for all of us. Do me a favor, to all of you and any of you that have, granted me the blessing of your presence. Give yourself some slack. The world ain't gonna do it for you. Learn to take it easy on yourself. Learn to forgive yourself. Forgive others, as self-serving as it may be when you really think of it this way, but forgiveness is truly a gift you give yourself. It's Life is too damn short to be angry for long periods of time. It's way too short to feel so miserable and allow yourself to isolate. And anxiety is just it's just an obstacle that you learn as you continue to progress to bash through. Yeah, mattress money. Tell me about it. I'm very, very pleased with what I what I was able to accumulate before I walked out the way I did. Oh, and I literally said to the person that I quit to, because she was trying to entice me, encourage me to stick it out, blah blah blah, even though I knew things were not going to change unless I did something a little bit drastic, which was taking another risk. And what's life without risk? Without risk, you see no reward. So I told this woman, she's like, "Are you sure you want to do it this way? Because, we can take you back." I'm like, "No, this is a bridge I'm comfortable burning. I'm going to burn this bridge right now. You've been a pleasure. You've been humble always. Thank you. Please tell so and so I mean no ill nothing anything." And I said, for I'm doing this for me, and I know you'll all be just fine. And I walked off. And here begins yet another fucking journey. It's not a whole new beginning. Well, who says it can't be? It's gonna be whatever I make it. Today was a good day. Uh, One of the owners is already all too eager to give me full time, which I'm not ready for, and I made that very, very clear. And, I'm going to utilize this into content because this is a family owned store and they're comfortable with me going live and talking how I want to talk and being how I am, who I am. They allow tips there. It's um it's going to be at least more of a kind of a liberating place to go day to fucking day than the structure of a corporation. I think the company I worked for, it's well known enough here, and I don't know why I'm apprehensive to name drop it. Other people are gonna do it for me anyway, so let the people do what they're gonna do. I think I feel just about comfortable enough again. See, at least it's worth it. So just like I was feeling apprehensive of coming on in the first place, and when, I really wanted to play a couple of clips, but I just didn't feel comfortable enough. And then I went from not wanting to just hide my face with this the entire time, talking into this thing like just a microphone, like I usually do when I have a really good rant planned or something. Then I started to feel how ridiculous it feels. Does anybody else find it ever just strange in any way when there's larger groups that traverse the YouTube realms that try so hard to stay anonymous, but they're oh so at the ready to attack people who are forthcoming, open, transparent? What the fuck is that double standard? They're all so ready to jump on your shit and judge you and say and spread whatever bullshit that they can, and they have no existence outside of their voice and their channel name. Complete anonymity, and it's a bunch of that judging the people that are willing to put their face out there and share their stories and their mistakes and the humbling moments of their lives. I cannot live a life in complete obscurity and anonymity. I have to have my motherfucking voice. This is my catharsis. This is the most pungent medication I have in my arsenal. It is speaking and feeling heard to any degree. I don't care if it was one fucking number on there. I laugh at the people that say, "Oh, look at you with the clout." Yeah, this is huge clout for me. I got 9 people in here, man. I'm getting so fucking off on this shit right now. Let me tell you. Hey, you voyeurs, any bushwhackers back there? Get out of my shed. So yeah, I'm glad that I decided to fucking finally do this, and I want to kind of with some people, I don't know their level of comfort with having their name shared. So I'll just say to a very specific number of you that have gone out of your way to reach me, text me, call me, message me on social media. I thank you so so much. And those of you that are on one of my social medias that sent comments or whatever, you trying to stay connected, or you notice when I go idle, people know I'm not doing well when I'm idle. Typically, hopefully that's not always the fucking case, but just thank you. And for those of you that only know me here, White Dragon, you've become a household name in my own consciousness, man. Thank you, you know, and thank you for just giving me a place where I feel it's okay to just be who the fuck I am, scars and wounds and imperfections and all. And yeah, that's it, man. I'd rather go to bed tonight with a sense of gratitude than a sense of spite. And tomorrow I'm gonna wake up in the morning. Now I'm a morning guy instead of a night guy. Although I've been almost flipping my entire fucking schedule by sleeping in the day and staying up all fucking night, which is what I did yesterday. So I can't do that to myself today. Um, and Angel Wings, I see you. You're also somebody that messages me and make your presence known and your concern. So thank you too. Like sometimes I feel like I don't express it enough, and that's why I call out names individually when I see them pop in. It's the only way I know how to thank people is just to sometimes I think the most we can do for one another is just acknowledge that we see one another. I see you, and thank you for seeing me, you know? And I try to use that to stay grounded and humble. So okay, there is a clip I want to show. I can't fucking do it from here. It'd be too boomer of me to put it on my computer and turn this thing around, so I'll keep the video and I'm gonna force myself to get back into this. You can start expecting to see Josh and I and our old third mic, Adam, on Friday nights. I don't know. I have a new schedule now. So, and I have a lot of fun with those assholes. I have a lot of fun with you guys too. So, yeah, in the end, we're all brothers and sisters. In the end, we're all connected. All right, no matter how ugly we see humanity being towards one another, or if you feel that ugliness is directed towards you, it's easy. It's way too easy I don't know why. This is the imperfection of the human mind or just my own, but it is. I mean, look at the views that drama and anger, spite, hatred, vile behavior gets. Look at the attention that cultivates so quickly. But when you try to spread positivity, unity, or anything like that, it's challenging. If I came in here yelling at everybody like a fucking lunatic, I mean, I'm a lunatic as it is. Let's be clear about that. But if I said, "Hey, let me make up a name here. Hey, Jimmy Crack Corn, yo, fuck you, man. I seen you on your channel, Jimmy Crack Corn, and I don't care." If people started coming over here and seeing me yelling at the screen, I've already seen it. The numbers start stacking and piling up. People talking about other people. That's what seems to get everybody's attention. Maybe in part because of that psychosis within our own minds is why as a country we seem so fucking fractured and in such turmoil because we're thriving and connecting to something like parasites. It is parasitic behavior. We're quick to look at what we believe to be solutions, but we don't take the time to go through the steps of, you know, going through why something is a solution. And it's like we'll just find people that have already made a determination without understanding the way of thinking that got them to that destination. Communication is fucking important, man. And individualism is fucking important. Being in a group shouldn't be something that makes anybody feel like it's a disturbing example of humanity. We are all connected. We are all brothers and sisters, and I am proud of that. I want to be proud of that. And fuck it, be it far from me to act like the arbiter of human behavior and what it should and shouldn't be. But I know we can do better. So if you find yourself being a part of anything and you know it's toxic because we're much more aware, self-aware than we give ourselves credit for. I think people in part lie to themselves as much as possible when they do things that are fucked up and wrong and hurtful, harmful, put other people in danger, make people like calling the police, CPS, sending packages, calling people's jobs, all that kind of behavior, which is so popular and it's a self-supporting system. It is a fucking it is nothing different than a parasite and the way they all fund one another. It is a self-serving fucking I don't know what it is. I don't for a change in my life, I lack the words to describe what that is. And I talk about it time and time again because it is an anomaly to me. Like I don't understand the attraction. Maybe if I hopped on and just became a part of that, it's easy. It's much easier when you're in the yes man chamber and room and where nobody is saying anything critical of your own actions because you're all doing the same thing and that gives you a sense of I don't know, a sense of oh, so this is perfectly normal what I'm doing by obsessing over one individual's life. And there are people that I have the absolute specific groups and people in my mind as I articulate all this. And I'm just not one of the crowd, I guess. I mean, I'm no different than you, but to this I can't pretend that I have any understanding of it. I think I've ranted quite enough though. Thank you again. I say thank you a lot. That's not a bad thing. I'm gonna go drink some Milo's lemonade decaf and go to bed. I have work in the morning. This has been cathartic, and I promise, I'm bad with this. There's people I owe phone calls to. I fucking totally ghosted, man. Ah, I have clips that I've been saving because I want to share them. Because at the beginning of the internet, I think the whole idea, the intentions, they always start positive, right? Was to connect effectively, was to connect, to share, and learn from one another or bring joy or laughter or curiosity or information. So there are clips that I believe, as I know all of you individually, I do believe that you will all appreciate, enjoy, find compelling, and hopefully some of it fucking funny, because we need a laugh as much as humanly possible. Life's too short to not laugh. I agree, the beer bug and the seclusion really did a number on people and their mental wellness. Tell me about it. Seclusion is a whole other drug that I need to stay away from. Isolating. It's never done me any good. I mean, we see that it should be something you earn when you need your personal time or something, you know. I can't really feel whole by playing video games anymore, or so I'm doing my part. I hope you all find your part and are able to get through with grace and feel seen and heard. Know you are by me. Good night. Till we meet again, sooner than later, and I'll be doing more shorts because I got more books, and it's one of my few passions that I still have, and we will meet again. Good night. Love, light, peace to all that good stuff.